Howdy Sonic Sailors, I'm Marissa Johnson, but you can call me MJ. I'm a producer for Soundpaint and ATO, and today we're going to be exploring the toss of a dice, random chance, organized chaos even, all these things we know in music as aleatory. If you're familiar with our aleatoric orchestral series, you know that those libraries cover the traditional kind of aleatoric orchestral effects, but Symphonic Shadows takes it a bit deeper, takes it a bit darker. We wanted to explore the textual realm of aleatory sound design and effects. There's just so much to be explored, and the amount of things you can do with it in Soundpaint is practically limitless. So we have a lot to cover in Symphonic Shadows Woodwinds. Let's dive in. In Symphonic Shadow Woodwinds, we recorded a piccolo, 2 flutes, an alto flute, 2 oboes, 2 clarinets, and of course 2 bassoons, giving us a full orchestral woodwind section. And we also have 72 parts in this library and 43 programs. 24 of those programs are main articulation programs, so there's really a lot to get into with this library. There's so many cool sounds here. Now the first thing I want to point out in these main programs is that in Soundpaint 2.5 we have keyboard labels. I've labeled all the sample ranges so you know exactly where the samples are programmed, and then everything, of course, top and bottom samples are stretched throughout the rest of the range of the keyboard, giving you full playability of the keys. In slot 1 we've got the Deca mic, which is going to be the default for all main programs, and then we also have spot 1 and spot 2 microphone positions in slot 3 and 4. Now the reason that the spot 1 and 2 microphones are next to each other is so you can morph between them, which we will get into in just a little bit. Wow, that just got more and more agitated as we went on up. Cool. Wow. And something I want to point out is you'll notice that these sampled ranges change to different ranges of the keyboard, and that's because it follows the registers and ranges of the instruments that are playing. So for example, that was more high-pitched, programmed to be a little higher on the keyboard, whereas this is going to be lower, and so the sampled range is going to be a little lower on the key. So that gives you an idea of why the ranges shift, instead of just being in one range the entire time. So one of my favorite things with this series is stretching notes to the lower ranges because it creates some really cool textures and ambient sounds. So let's take a listen to some of them. It sounds like a low end sections, like contrabassoon, like bass clarinet. Really deep low end. But let's take it a little deeper, a little darker. Wow. Let's see how low we can go. So cool. When you have these notes, you get all these harmonics and stuff because the players are doing like this effects, and you also have the air and stuff. And what that translates to in the lower range is sounds like distortion and some like, it's just some like white noise almost in the upper kind of register. So what having the filter on does is it allows you to kind of cut out the higher frequencies that we've got going on that kind of create this like white noise. So instead of this, you can cut out that extra noise to just give you this low bass ambient texture. It's great. Love it. Moving on. Okay, let's take a look at the spot mic so you can hear kind of how it's split up in this library. So spot mic 1 gives us some bassoon and also piccolo. Spot mic 2 gives us more bassoon and some oboe, and I think there's a little bit of clarinet in there as well. Yeah, lots of bassoon. And again, if you want more flute piccolo, you just open up that spot mic 1. But let's say you want to morph between these. All you gotta do is turn on, add MIDI CC, and let's try this out. Now let's swap these and see what happens. Interesting. So cool. Interesting because spot mic 1 is the piccolo, so yep, lots of piccolo, but let's say I don't want as much piccolo. There you go, just put it back into the back corner. Wow, those are some really high bassoon notes. Let's check them out. There's that piccolo again, and so if you want to just put the piccolo in timeout because it's really loud and a little obnoxious and in your face, spot mic 2 is going to be your friend. It's my friend right now. Yeah, give me all the high bassoon trills and put the piccolo in the corner. Happy life right now. Oh, that's cool. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. The bassoons are screaming. And, I mean, the clarinets are also screaming, and they're all just... So I know what this one sounds like stretched down, and I want you guys to take a listen to it, because I think it's really cool. I mean, that's really cool. But let's turn on the filter again and cut out some of the white noise, if you will, at the top. It's almost like some sort of brass something, and almost like a gong. I don't know how to describe it really, but it sounds really, really cool. But something I also want to show you guys is turning on time. You can adjust time as well within these stretched ranges. And it makes for some really, really cool sounds. Right now, I've got it completely at 0, which is frozen. Let me move the offset. A filter, a gate, freeze time, adjust the offset. That's it. That is it. You know, it's not much, but that's really cool. Ooh. Rad. You've got a little rise in one and a drop in the other. Wow, Hell's Fury. So much piccolo, I feel like I'm in hell. So I'm turning on this mic too. There's a lot of clarinet in this one. Yeah. You know, something that's really cool about this library is that, yes, you have these sampled ranges, and yes, there's the Deca mic, and there's spot 1 and spot 2, but with these different microphones, it's like they're each their own variations within these mic positions, within the sampled ranges. So it's like, yeah, okay, here's your sampled range, but Deca's going to be different. Spot 1 and spot 2 are going to be different variations. It's very similar, and there's slight variations between these, but then the mics just add this level of depth to the variation, which is really, really cool. Also, I want to show you the difference between having the 2 spot mics together and having the Deca mics. So, for example, spot 1 and spot 2. Obviously with these spot mics, because they're spot mics, the sound is closer than the Deca mic is. But the sound, it's not a typical close mic sound. It sounds like I'm surrounded with the sound because it's very broad and spread across the left and right channels instead of a more kind of narrow, like one mic picking it up. It's got these 2 mics which gives it this really broad, wide perspective of this closer position. Like, I feel like I'm on stage with the ensemble. Like, that's the kind of sound that it's giving me. Whereas you've got the Deca. And the Deca, for me, with this series, is like having the ensemble on stage and I'm in the audience. So you still get that wide sound, but it's farther away, obviously, because the Deca mic is farther away. But it just gives this really interesting perspective to the sounds of this library. I mean, that's really, really cool to be able to color your sounds this way. All right, now to the short articulations. So these last programs we're going to go over are these KS programs, and anytime you see KS in a Soundpaint program, it's going to stand for key switch, because Soundpaint 2.5 now has key switches. Now, normally when I think of aleatoric libraries, I don't automatically think of using key switches other than just cycling between individual aleatoric effects. But in Soundpaint, you can actually play multiple key switch articulations at the same time. So I don't just have to play one articulation. I can play 2 at the same time, 3 at the same time, back down to 2. However I want to mix and match my articulations. It's really, really cool. And for this library, it's really, really great for texture building. And the key switch programs for the Symphonic Shadows series is also, because there's so many articulations, it's a really economic way to go through basically all the articulations in a really fast manner, so you don't have to sit and go through all the main programs like we just did. You'll also notice that I have the Deca mic positions loaded for each of these, just because it gives you the best sounds for each of these libraries right off the bat. Now I have these key switch programs grouped by sound types. So we have longs, looped, longs. The Whistler parts just kind of stood out so much from the other long articulations that I just decided, you know, I'm just going to put these together with all the spot mics and the Decas, so you can kind of mix and match however you want. And then we also have the short articulation. So let's go through these real quick just to give you an idea of what key switches in Symphonic Shadows and Soundpaint can do. So right off the bat, chaos. Complete and utter chaos. And that's because for all the key switch programs, all the sounds are turned on and are playing together automatically. So all you have to do is select your sound, obviously. So I mentioned this was good for texture building. Check this out. Yeah, cool, right? So just to give you an idea of what I'm doing, I'm keeping one key switch on, so one articulation on the entire time to kind of tie everything in together. It's going to be the common sound between all of these other looped sounds. And so everything on it just kind of builds the texture, so you can put things in, pull things out, vice versa, and just mix and match any way you want. But it's really, really cool, I think. Let's say you want to do something like play a lower note, but your key switch is in the way. All you gotta do is move it, and key switch is there. And we can still texture build. The key switches are so easy. All I have to do is pop that back and then right click, move all key switches, and all I gotta do is move them down. If I want complete access to the lower range because I'm building texture, stacking things up, then all I gotta do is just move the entire set up. Lastly, I want to take you all through these ensemble programs, which you're going to find in the Woodwinds library. Now, the ensemble programs do require you to have the brass, strings, and the woodwinds for them to work because they are hidden gems. We are dropping all 3 of these libraries on the same day, and we are offering a bundle for them. So if you're interested in these ensemble patches, you don't have to wait for the brass or strings or anything. Like, they are all coming out the same day. Now for these ensemble programs, I chose similar sounds between the brass, strings, and winds library that fit well together, and made some crazy stuff out of them. So let's check it out. Now this is one that actually works really well in the lower extended ranges. And yeah, it works in the sampled ranges as well, but it just works so nicely in the lower ranges. Isn't that so cool? And in the Woodwinds, we've got one of the Goblins playing, which is doing this whole thing. What's so cool about this is you have these punches from the brass and even the strings as well. And then you've got the goblins at the end, in the winds, just giving this last little tail. So when you go really, really low, let's adjust the low pass. And just when you think that this low synthy brass is done, you have this ambient underscore from the Woodwinds that keeps going, and it's just fun. So the reason this is called Rise, Fall, Cluster is because it is a mix of falls and rises between the strings, woodwinds, and brass. So for example, you generally have a rise in the entire orchestra, whereas up here, the brass is going down. It's a little more chaotic, but yet it has this direction and motion to it. So anyway, that's why they are together. Last but not least, my favorite ensemble program. I have to open the stereo imager to show you all, but just watch and see. I just had so much fun with this. Obviously starting low with the slow back and forth with the stereo imager. Obviously, if you don't like having that tail at all, because there kind of is a tail, and there's still, I've got the Lexi reverb on still. Check this out. All you have to do is just turn these effects off. And that's the way it is with any of our programs. If it's too wet or whatever, all you have to do is go to the effects and you don't like that extra tail. If you're not even sure what the sound is, all you have to do is turn the effects on and off. Super, super simple. The power is completely yours. Soundpaint was made with fast, furious fun in mind. And this program, it follows the same train of thought. Fast, furious, fun. So hopefully this has given you a pretty decent idea of what sounds these library has. I'm going to actually pass you over to Nicholas Semrad's more than capable hands, and he's going to take you through some of more of the effects and some of the programs that he made. Again, this library has so much to be explored, so take it away, Nick.
Ooh, I like being able to control where that sits. Automation. That's a vibe.
Hopefully you all have gotten a pretty good idea of what this library can do. Hopefully you've been inspired by it. I certainly have, creating crazy things, just exploring kind of these ambient textures and sound design that's even beyond the original samples that we recorded. Have fun with this one. And let me know what you think in the comments. I do read all the comments. You can reach me anytime on Discord. The link is in the description below. Come join us. We would love to have you there. This has been one whirlwind adventure with you all. I have loved every moment. I will see you next time. But until then, take care.